Canada 150, I'm sure many of you guys know what it is. I'll talk quickly about what Canada 150 is and specifically what it means for Parks Canada as an agency. But it's also important for us as an agency to acknowledge that while 2017 is a very unique and special year for us, it's an opportunity for us to set a foundation for our organization and build on that success for future years. So what is Canada 150? As you guys know, it's 150 years celebrating the Sesquicentennial Centennial of Confederation. More importantly, I think what we're all interested in is really the celebrations that are going to be happening across the country. And really those celebrations are going to benefit quite a lot from international profile and domestic and international tourism promotion. Some of the things that our federal partners are doing, Canada 150 Community Infrastructure Program being delivered by FedDev. So they've committed almost $90 million over 2 years to support renovation, expansion, improvement of existing community cultural infrastructure. So I know I've worked a lot with the different organizations who've submitted applications through that. I do understand that those applications are being assessed, and we're really looking forward to helping to deliver on those. Another thing that our federal partners are doing, so Canadian Heritage, who has been a lead on Canada 150, has created a fund to create opportunities for Canadians to participate. And again, I know many municipalities and community groups, people who have been represented here have went up after those. So we're really anxiously looking forward to see what comes down. But certainly we're going to be working with everyone to celebrate 150 and just have some fun. These are Parks Canada's agency priorities, so I'm going to go over them, kind of highlight each of them in detail, and you'll see a little bit about what we're doing. So I am here and I'm speaking, I represent the Rideau Canal, but I am joined by my colleagues from Thousand Islands National Park, so I'll try and highlight a little bit about what we're doing and what we're looking for from you. So what are we doing? I mean, there was 5 agency priorities there, but whenever someone says, you know, John, what are you guys doing for Canada 150? You know, on the canals, we're offering free lockage. That's huge for us. We're very, very excited. We're hoping it's going to bring a few more people to Chaffee's. It's certainly going to pose some challenges. So while we're very, very excited about that, it's really important that we look across our communities, across the different organizations in order to make sure that we're successful. In terms of capacity, and I know we've had the question, you know, are you extending hours or are there going to be changes? We are planning on operating the canal just like we have every year, so our hours will be remaining the same. Our staffing levels will be remaining the same. You know, certainly within the canals, we have a lot of capacity. We don't see nearly the traffic that we used to in the past, and we can certainly lock some more boats. But we do anticipate some challenges, and fortunately, through a federal government program, the Green Young Canada's Works Initiative, we'll be bringing on additional students throughout the Rideau Canal, and I'm sure as well as Thousand Islands, in order to deal with that influx in terms of visitation. One key thing we're doing, and while it's not necessarily related to the free admission, we thought it was a good opportunity was to roll out a point of sale system. So on the Rideau Canal, we actually do all of our revenue reconciliation manually. And one of the things we keep hearing, and I'm sure as you guys know, being in business, is when you're making decisions, you want to have access to good information. You want to know who your customers are, where they're from, and why they're coming to see you. So while we've done some manual tracking, we see the point of sale system as a really great opportunity for us to get a better understanding of not just who's passing through the locks, how often, and where they're coming from, but also get a better understanding in terms of the number of unique boaters that are coming through the system, which is a question we get asked often, and right now we just do an estimation. Above and beyond the events or the free admission, we will be doing events, and you know, again, one of the things that I see as an opportunity, and certainly we've been approached, is you know, working with different community groups and municipalities to throw on celebrations. So many of you already have plans out there for next year, and what I'm offering to you is we have a lot of space. We'd like to make it available to you, and certainly if you need support in putting on your events, we'd like to help out. We've already been tapped in Ottawa. For many of you, if you haven't heard, we will be hosting Red Bull Crashed Ice at Ottawa Locks. Huge event with Ottawa 2017. We're very excited about that. I'm very interested in looking for opportunities in the interior of the canal, so at places like Chaffee's, Newborough, further up the system, certainly within this county. So if you have ideas, I invite you to come and talk to me. I'd love to work with you. Next year is also a unique cross-anniversary opportunity for the Rideau Canal. It will be the 10th anniversary of our UNESCO designation, so we'd really like to celebrate that and mark that off, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to bring some kind of an event to Jones Falls specifically. I think it's a great site that we need to highlight a little bit more. Next priority, heritage conservation and gains. We're doing a lot in terms of an investment infrastructure program. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. I think the key here for us has really been engaging with First Nations through consultation, but also with different municipalities and residents to make sure that people are aware about the work that we're doing and that they have an understanding of how they fit in, and making sure that the work that we're doing really fits into not just what we are today, but where we want to go in the future. Another priority, and this is really a priority that I'm sure you heard about the government in Canada speak a lot about, Indigenous partnerships and programs. We've been working very, very hard across both the Rideau Canal and the Thousand Island National Park to engage with First Nation communities whose traditional territory do overlap the canal and our parks. So we want to continue to build and improve on those relationships, so specifically with the Algonquins of Ontario and the Mohawks of Akwesasne. Some smaller things that we're doing is looking at our offers and making sure that we, again, create space, but also tell the story of Indigenous peoples and give them the opportunity to tell their stories as well. Lastly, outreach and engagement. It's part of the reason why we're here. There's a lot that we think that we can do. We're going to continue to focus our outreach and marketing on boaters and cottagers and outdoor enthusiasts. But we really want to work with our partners. Again, there was this talk a little bit about, campus environment. We're all working together. We all benefit from increased visitation, whether they're coming by water or by land. We certainly want to work together with you guys to do that. We'll do some fun, unique things within parks. So, within the Rideau Canal, we talked about doing, 150 ways to connect with the canal. You canoe, you can bike, you can hike, you can picnic. I'm sure you can all think of at least one thing that you enjoy doing on the canal. So we really want to highlight those and get people to come and explore us. And we'll elaborate, we'll do a little bit more in terms of everything that we do on a regular basis. The Learn To programs, we've had a lot of success with that. Learn to camp, learn to paddle. Something that we developed uniquely for the canals, learning to lock. We'll like to expand on that. And if there's opportunities to do something like learn to climb, such as Kingston Mills, we'd love to see that happen. But the key thing there is really that collaboration with private and municipal interests. Very recently I sat down with, private and municipal interests on the Rideau Canal to talk about mooring. We have a lot of work to do there. Certainly while we feel we have a bit of capacity, there's going to be some times when we're going to be hit really hard with increased visitation. We want to be ready for that. We'll be looking to our municipal and private industry to help us deal with that capacity. So we're certainly looking forward to continuing those conversations with our partners. So that's kind of what next year looks like. Building off, into the future. We've said it before at this particular summit last year. I know when Darlene was presenting, I just really wanted to highlight it. We really want to cement ourselves as premier destinations. I think a lot of people are very familiar with our sites. Certainly from these numbers, as you can see, we see some great visitation. Next year, we're going to see more of that. What I'm very interested in doing with my team is making sure that when we bring people out next year, we show them the best possible time so that they continue to come out in years to come. 11 million people. I saw another stat in terms of the triangle from the Boat Museum, but here's some stats. 11 million people 4 hours drive from our parks. Obviously, free admission is going to make our sites must-visit destinations, and what we want to do is make sure that we draw those people in, but also that they spend time and they spend some money checking out local businesses, visiting in the communities, and really taking in everything that the area has to offer. And we can't do that alone. Certainly we're a federal government agency, and we have some capacity, but it's really important for us that we work with everyone, not just in this room, but beyond these walls, to make sure that we're successful. It's very, very important to me, and I've messaged it at any opportunity that I've had, is we absolutely need to make sure that everyone has a fantastic time next year when they come through our system. There will be times when it's busy. There will be times when we might not have space, but if we take very good care of them, they're going to come back. I'm very blessed to have a great team. If you've ever been to any of our lock stations, the operational staff are, bar none, some of the best people I've ever met. They're locals in their communities. They're mayors, they're dog catchers, everything. I know they're going to show everyone a great time, but they can't do that on their own. So I'm going to be looking to all of you to be really kind of an extension of our team so we can show everyone a great time. Infrastructure investments, very, very important to us. We're going to keep focused on that. 104 million, you may have seen these numbers before. 9.4 million over for our friends at Thousand Islands. So some of the things that they're going to be working on, the Land and Bay Campground, it's going to function as a central starting point for visitors' discovery. And then the Island Day Use Experience, very specifically for non-boaters at Thousand Islands. So if you saw the previous stat, most of their visitation is boaters. So they're very much interested in creating new experience and access to people who are coming by land. These are just some of the many projects that have been completed on the Rideau Canal. So I try to highlight the ones that are particular to this county. Some key things that are coming up next year. We'll be doing some work at Edmonds Lock and Nares Lock. I know we had some questions about that. And then the Upper Nicholson's Earth Dam. There's some information on our website if you're interested in following in terms of what projects we're doing and what's coming up. I invite you to visit that site. And lastly, business development. I know, Anne, you touched on it earlier in terms of your update. We're very excited to be working with the Rideau Heritage Route Tourism Association, and very specifically on the Tourism Economic Impact Study. As I mentioned about our point of sale, one of the things I really want to make sure that we're doing is we're making decisions based on concrete data. And one of the things we need a better understanding of is the impact, so that we can tell our story to the people who make decisions and let them know why we want to do something, and it's supported with clear information. Keep building strong partnerships. Again, we can't do this alone, so we look to all of you guys to help us create awesome visitor experiences. Obviously we're looking at helping to attract business as well. We were out with TUI showing them everything that the canal has to offer. And there's also opportunities for us internally that we're looking at, such as water power development and so on. So one of the things that's key there, and I know certainly, I think it's been messaged before, we want to work towards a sustainable future. We're fortunate to get allocations from the government, but they certainly don't cover all of our operating expenses. One of the beauties of being in a Parks Canada agency, unlike many other departments, is that we retain our revenue, but we also retain it locally. So we take that money, we reinvest it into our programs, we reinvest it into our operations and maintenance, and that helps us be more sustainable in the future. So that's just it in a quick high level. Thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, I invite you to talk to anyone in the green shirts after this is done.